Hello, LGBT support line. This is Sophie speaking. How can I help you? Hello? Hello, you're speaking to Sophie at the LGBT support line. Can I help you? Okay, well, I know somebody is there because I can hear you breathing. I'm assuming you've not called by accident or but dialed. Can I just confirm with you that you're trying to reach somebody here at the LGBT support line, yeah? Have you previously been cut off and you're dialing back in, or have you arranged to call back at this time? To speak to a certain advisor? It's okay if you're shy. If you don't wish to talk to me, Sophie. We understand that you might have a certain advisor you're confident in speaking with. That's okay. I'll just need their name so I can check if they're on shift today. If you could just share their name, I can put you back through to them. It's not a problem. No? It's okay. I get shyness. I understand that. But if you're unable to speak to me, there isn't much I'll be able to do for you. Or are you not able to talk? Is that it? If you're in any trouble or you're not safe, you need to make some sort of sound so I'm aware. If you're unsafe right now, can you say yes? Make a noise or press a button on your keypad. Or is it that you want to talk but you're feeling anxious, nervous? Even a small yes or no or a noise of any kind would help. Otherwise, I will have to disconnect the call if I don't get a response, you see. Okay, well, I can't keep this line open any longer, I'm afraid, as you've given me no indication that you actually require this service. Though, if that does change in the future, please do not hesitate to call. Okay. Good. That's cool. Can you press one of the keys again to confirm you want to stay on the line with me, yeah? Great. That's great. Thank you. Lovely, right. Can you press again once if you want to talk? Or press twice if you just want me to talk, chat to you, offer my voice in company. Okay, cool. No worries. Right. Well, lucky you, because I'm a chatter me. I am very much known as a chatter. I know what it's like. Well, I mean, I don't know what it's like for you. I don't know fully your reasons in calling us here today, why you've reached out to us. But I want you to know we've experienced many varying situations here. So don't worry. We all have different issues, different needs. But normally the collective theme of why people contact us is support. So that's what I mean by I know what it's like. I know personally and through working here, we all sometimes need some support. That's somebody to talk to or listen to, so we don't feel as lonely, yeah? I mean, we live out here in the sticks, don't we? Of course it gets a bit lonely. We don't live in a big bustling city, do we? Where LGBT life is a more visible part of the norm. Like Soho, London, or Canal Street in Manchester. Oh, I've been there a few times, to be honest. Have you? I couldn't keep up. I was shocked to find that there was no last orders. You can just keep on going for as long as you like. I mean, I don't know if you're much younger than me, but I'm 38 and I was ready for a bag of chips and a cup of tea back at the hotel room by 11:45. No, we're definitely not a big city, are we? We're out here in the countryside. And as glorious and beautiful as it is, well, we won't ever get the ex-winners from RuPaul's Drag Race coming to entertain us down at the Dog and Duck, will we? Although I did ask at the Drake Inn if we could have the rural Yorkshire Pride meetings in their back room the other day, and they were well up for it. It was a nice surprise. Even offered us a finger buffet at a discounted rate and the use of their karaoke facilities, which I thought was progressive. And that's the nice thing, actually. We are progressing. Things are getting better. Just look at this service, this support group. There's many groups now started up around the Yorkshire villages, especially youth groups, which is so important. But all age ranges are starting to get access to something that suits them as individuals. All different interests too. Coffee mornings, pub quiz teams, sports groups for those who are competitive. Not me. I get anxiety at traffic lights if the car next to me starts edging forwards. There's even a group called the Young Hot Queer Bedale Banjo Players. They're really good, actually. But yeah, these are signs that we're taking steps in the right direction. Village, countryside, rural life, it can be hard for LGBT people, can't it? It can be isolating and lonely. We can feel like we're the only ones. I know from first-hand experience it can feel like that. I've lived it. I was in a straight relationship for loads of years, which was fine. I like boys. I just knew I liked girls too. But growing up, there was not one single LGBT person I knew who I could talk to about how I felt or what it meant. There was Leah Bracknell off the telly, Zoe Tate from Emmerdale. Of course, I didn't know her personally. I did write to her to tell her I like girls, like she did, and that I was from a village very similar to that of Emmerdale Farm. We also had a pub called the Woolpack. I didn't get a reply there. And I remember that felt like a really negative message. I took it as a sign that we shouldn't talk about those things, and I felt silly that I'd even sent it. I didn't realise it would have been a PO box that her agent will have probably never even opened. Or in fact, Leah herself wasn't gay and couldn't offer a confused, bi-curious teenager any advice. A few years later at college, I told my careers advisor. In a moment of bravery, I asked about universities that had a good LGBT scene. She was old, well, I think she was probably about 50, but back then I thought 30-year-olds were ancient, so... But yeah. When I told her, she said, "That's all right, dear. You still like men, don't you, so you'll be fine." I wasn't sure what she was trying to imply at the time, but it was a definite end to the conversation, and I never spoke about it again. I ended up at Scarborough campus with all my other mates, my country bumpkin mates. Scarbs weren't very gay back then. Not that it's rainbow clad now, mind, but the beach on your doorstep and the fish and chips were definitely a bonus. All my mates were straight at uni and all started seeing boys from our dorms. I guess I just followed suit. And it was fine because I liked boys too. I did fancy my boyfriend back then, but when he talked about how fit Angelina Jolie was, I just wanted to agree and say, "I know, right?" and drool along with him. I don't know what your situation is. Maybe you know who you are. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're scared or worried to be your true self. And that's okay. Because I wasn't my true self for so many years. I was too scared. Maybe you've got lots of experience. Maybe you don't. What I've come to realise is experience is what helps us find out the answers. Answers to all those personal questions about ourselves. My answers came during a movie night in my close friend Amy's dorm room. Bound with Gina Gershon. Have you seen it? Don't, honestly, it's rubbish. A lesbian movie written and directed by men. Go figure. Anyway, it is pretty raunchy, and yeah, although me and Amy had boyfriends, we were clearly attracted to each other. That was undeniable. We didn't discuss it or anything like that. Oh my God, that would have been so embarrassing. But it was just obvious. The way we interacted with each other. It was just different. I felt different towards her. Totally different to any of my other girlfriends growing up. I thought about her a lot. And she meant something to me. I didn't really know what. We had what I now know is called a romantic friendship. Yeah, it's a thing. Lots of people experience them. I was happy to find out afterwards. They're very confusing. And watching Bound that night didn't help the situation. Or maybe it did. I guess it depends on how you look at it. Anyway, you know what I'm getting at. Things between me and Amy progressed and movie nights became a regular thing, if you know what I mean. And soon my conscience kicked in. We both had boyfriends, and perhaps this wasn't really a nice thing to be doing behind their backs. Especially for them. I mean, I was having a great time. So yeah, anyway, bad times. So I mentioned it to Amy. You know, maybe that it was about time we told the lads about us both, and I'll never forget her face. It was emotionless, deadpan. And she said, "Tell them what?" Tell them what? That's what she actually said to me. Tell them what? My heart just sank, because in that moment it became totally clear that I didn't mean the same to Amy as she did to me. I was crushed. But I was young and inexperienced, and I took it. I accepted it. There was nothing between us. It had just been a bit of silly fun. Her words. There were no more movie nights between me and Amy. Guilt is something we can feel too, isn't it? It can be overwhelming. Have you experienced that feeling? Guilt. It can consume us. Make us feel like we've let people down. Our families especially. Is this okay for you? Is this supportive? Or am I totally off mark? Beep once if you want me to keep chatting, or beep twice if I need to change things up. Cool. Thanks. Right, what was I talking about? Oh. Yeah, guilt. Yeah. Guilt's a real ball buster, isn't it? I guess it depends on your surroundings and your personal situation, but we can feel like we're disappointing our loved ones, feel guilt because we're letting them down in some sort of way. It was the experience of real physical guilt that started to haunt me. Every time I was back with my boyfriend, knowing that really I'd rather have been with Amy, really started eating me up. I had to tell him. I ended up telling him. To my surprise, he didn't really react. Other than, the typical boy response of wishing they could have watched. I don't know what that is. Oh, let's not get into that. But yeah, a few jokes and that was it. He asked me if I still liked him. I was so confused and worried about other people finding out what, that I liked girls. The way Amy's face just changed. It changed to, well, nothing. It made me lose any confidence I was building in the way of feeling proud. So I said, of course. Yeah, of course, I still like you. And that was it. We stayed together, left uni and got married. I mean, what else, right? Seemed the perfect response to having my heart broken. Get married. Also, while you're at it, have a kid. In fact, have two. Because that's what all the normal people do. And sometimes that's all we're looking for, isn't it? Just to be normal. What society perceives as acceptable. I didn't mind too much. I thought, well, I like men and he was good looking, and so I just went along with it all. I just coasted. But at some point we have to stop coasting and get back in control of our lives. Like you picking up the phone today. Okay, so your confidence to talk or share ain't quite there. Sure, yeah. But you've picked up the phone. You've dialed this number. You've taken the first steps in the process of taking control, and that's brilliant. When me and my husband split up over 2 years ago, I was so down. I couldn't work out who I was or who I wanted to be. My friends were always trying to set me up with their husbands' mates. I felt so alone and like no one would understand. And I was so worried. I was worried about the kids. I thought I'd confuse them even more. Oh, but kids, they're so resilient. Anyway, I took the plunge. I started by going to a few of the local LGBT events and social groups in my area. I didn't call this line, but I met somebody who volunteers here while I was on a Dykes hike, this group outing, and she helped me with the courage to come out. Be honest about myself, and offered me that support I needed. Just to be confident in myself, be my true self. Which sounds so cheesy, but I'm so grateful for now. And that's why I offer my free time to volunteer here. I hope I can offer that to you, too. To people like you. Those that are brave enough to take control of their lives and take the steps necessary to lead a happy life, being themselves. You still with me, yeah? You want to give me a beep on those keys to let me know? Good. Awesome. I told you I could chat, didn't I? I want you to know that whatever it is you're going through, whatever your situation, it gets better. You might have heard that before. It's actually a title of an amazing LGBT campaign to offer support to young suicidal youths. But it's the truth. They do. Things get better. I hope that sharing my experience, though it's most likely very different to yours, but it gives you an example of that things do, that they can, well, it gets better. I'm now 1 year and 2 months into an amazing, loving, supportive relationship with my girlfriend. Knowing what I know now, God, I'd have come out ages ago, being the only gay in the village way back when. Because right now I feel the most happiest I've ever been. And I wish I'd not hid this part of myself for so many years. Anyway, it's enough about me and my mushy love story. Who cares, right? Couples are so 1950s. For Sophie. What I'm trying to say is, I hope in sharing my experience, you feel that little bit less alone, isolated, scared. From my ramblings, you can get a sense of hope and feel more inclined to speak the next time you call, yeah? So whatever your situation, and as I've said before, we've come across it all here, no two situations are the same. And we love that diversity. We celebrate it. This been okay for you? Been enough for you? Shall I shut up rambling and bring this call to an end, or, just for the time being? Beat once for yes or twice and I can keep talking. Thanks. I'll bring it to a close then, but just before I do, a few formalities. I'd like to share with you some of the things that are on offer that might be of interest to you, help you, or that you might wish to access in the future. All across our Yorkshire villages, there's loads of support and social groups, and you can engage with these however you like. There's physical meetings, Zoom meetings, or telephone options, much like this one that we offer here. Depending on your age range and what you're into, the Yorkshire Mesmat group are awesome and definitely one for you to look up. There's loads of other groups too, organising events, prides and entertainment. Quick internet search and you can find it all. Lots of surrounding towns and cities all hold like pride events, and we, along with other support groups, often run a coach trip right over to any of those events. We're booking for Harrogate and York now actually, if you fancy a kiki at any of those. Details can be found on our Facebook group, or alternatively booking over the phone or email. If you want a smaller, more local event, you have the likes like Ripon and Selby all providing online and support LGBT groups. And you can always feel free to let us know where you're based, and we'd be happy to help and support you in finding events and groups to suit your location. You might not be looking for community, for support groups or an LGBT rugby team, which is fine. Other things we can support with are other life issues that being an LGBT person can feel isolating, and you might be struggling with it. It might be gender support, disability or health related issues. No problem is too big or too small, so please know we're here for you. I hope I've been some kind of help today, some kind of comfort or just company. I hope you've learned and realised you're not alone, and you don't have to feel lonely in this, whatever your personal struggles are. There are people like me and groups like ours that can and will help in any way we can. Now, can I get one last beep from you to let me know that you've got all that you've taken all of that on board, and that you know we're here for you anytime. Call back anytime and ask for me if you like. Ask for me. Ask for Sophie. Yeah? Great. That's really great. Thanks for calling today. And remember, we're here for you anytime. I'm looking forward to speaking again soon. Bye for now. Take care.
Thank you for listening. Ask for Sophie was written and directed by Kerrie L Marsh. This production features Lucy Francis as Sophie. Sound design and editing was by Craig Steer. Ask for Sophie was commissioned by Rural Arts as part of Keepsake, cultural experiences you can treasure. To find out more, visit ruralarts.org/keepsake or call 01845 526 536. Keepsake is funded by Arts Council England. We'd love to hear your thoughts on and responses to the play. This helps us evaluate activities and secure future funding. You can leave a message after the beep or email megan@ruralarts.org. Thank you and take care.